Hey guys, Tony back again, Horror in Todge. How we all doing? Happy New Year. It's New Year's Day here, 1st of January 2020. So I just want to say to everyone who's watching and, my followers and everything, Happy New Year. Thanks a lot again for everything you've done. Hopefully this year will be better for, a good year for everyone and bring you all love and happiness and wealth, whatever you want, and make it a great year. So, yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. So, today I thought I would do my top 10 horror movies of the decade, like last decade. So, basically the 2010s, so 2010 to the end of 2019. My top 10, it was really hard, really difficult because any of these could have. I've had so many films that I've watched. I haven't watched every movie, so some people might say, why isn't this in here? Like I say, I haven't watched every movie, so probably when I'm watching films over the next few years, I might think, oh, that should have been in there because it was brilliant. It's just, you can't get around to watching everything, can you? It's impossible. But just a few honourable mentions before we get started. What could have been in my top 10. So I'll go through a few of them. I Saw the Devil, Korean movie, great revenge movie, great gore, brilliant story. I love that film. Livid, a French movie, a vampire movie, great film. If you haven't seen that, that could have been in there. It Chapter 1 and 2, great. I thought it really brought horror back on the map this decade. I thought, it's the biggest grossing horror movie of the last 10 years easily. It just brought it back into the mainstream, and it was a great remake, to be fair, but it didn't get in here. Borderlands, another one. British found footage movie, great film. I love that. That was going to get in there. When the Lights Go Out, I've never heard no one mention that. That's another British movie, like set in the 70s, a spooky story. Great film. I love that one. Incident in a Ghostland, another one. From the director of, what's the guy's name? Martyrs, Pierre Longier. French guy. That's a great film. Instant in a Ghostland. Our video brought it out. Brilliant film. Brutal. The Visit. I really like that one. Another one that I don't hear. People don't seem to like it, and I love it. Mother. I know people might say it's not a horror, but I think it's so much of a horror. That film made me feel so uncomfortable. Like how Jennifer Lawrence character was trapped. It just made me, my skin crawl. It was weird. I was shouting at the screen all the time. It was a great film. Mother, if you haven't watched it, guys. Us and Get Out, they didn't get in my top 10, even though Jordan Peele's a master. I love his work. I love Us. I love Get Out. Both great films. Looking forward to see what he does in the future. Candyman coming out next year. Brilliant films, but didn't get in my top 10. And the last one I want to give a shout out to is Halloween 2018. I only watched it a couple of months ago. Got around to watching it. Really loved it as, slasher. Great slasher. One of my favourites. Like I said, the decade. It was just brutal. I love Michael in it. I love the storyline. Laurie Strode, and Jamie Lee Curtis was back. Kicked ass. Brilliant film. I loved it. So they're my honourable mentions. Let's get on to my top 10. So the first one is a 2018 film, which is directed by Steven Soderbergh, and it's Unsane. Stars Claire Foy. Now this is a really creepy movie, guys, if you haven't watched this. It's basically about this girl, and she ends up in a mental institute, and a guy who's been sort of following her and sort of stalking her is sort of one of the prison guards. And it's just really creepy, really great acting, great pace, psychological as anything. It's just brutal at the end, and it's really good if you haven't. It's like shot on an iPhone. It's a really strange setup, but if you haven't seen this, guys, Unsane, that's my number 10. It could have been higher, but it's my number 10. Brilliant film, brilliant directed. Like I say, brilliant film, guys. Definitely check that out. That's my number 10 of the century. Not century, decade. What am I on about? Sorry, decade. Not century, guys. Decade. Number 9, is Ari Aster's Midsummer from 2019. Like I say, he's my top 10 of the decade, not century. This is brilliant. What more can I say? I've already said it a lot of times. Florence Pugh's brilliant in this. It's just a different spin on a horror film with the lighting. You know, it's never dark. It's always in your face. And it's always there. There's just something there that isn't right. It's very unsettling, I think. It's just a masterpiece. Love Ari Aster. Midsummer, this is a brilliant addition. It's my number 9. Brilliant film. If you haven't seen that, definitely watch it, guys. I love it. My number 8 from 2015 is Robert Eggers' The Witch. This is a medieval sort of tale. If you haven't seen this one, really slow burn, really creepy atmosphere about a family who get kicked out of a village for, you know, and they're really religious, and something in the woods takes the baby, and basically the witch, hence the story, and just creepy stuff starts to happen, and there's stuff you can't see. Black Phillip here, as you can see, this ram on the front. It's just, like I say, I'm not going to say too much because if you haven't seen it, but this is a masterpiece. A24, like I say, Robert Eggers, brilliant film. This is that's my number 8, The Witch. My number 7, best film of the decade, is 2013, Fede Alvarez, Evil Dead, is my number 7. Brilliant film, I love it. Love the whole aspect of it being, I don't know if it's a sequel or a remake. It could be a sequel, it could be a remake. It was just brilliant, so gory, one of the goriest films of the decade, just brutal. That scene with the electric knife, the saw, when she saws her hand off, still sticks in my mind. It's just so gory, so great. The story's good, where they go to the hut for different reasons, like to sort of clear the girl from drugs, heroin abuse, whatever she's doing. And it's just, it's a great film, guys. If you haven't watched this one, Evil Dead, like I say, 2013, that is a brilliant film. Fede Alvarez, amazing. I love that film. Number 6, haven't actually opened this one yet, is Julia Devanro's Raw. This is a French cannibal film from 2016. This is brilliant. This was so much of a surprise. I watched this on my Sky channel, and I've still got it downloaded on Sky. That's why I haven't opened this, but I had to get it on Blu-ray. And it's just brilliant, guys. It starts off as this girl goes to college to become a vet, and she's a vegetarian, and they sort of push her into eating meat as a ritual, like a party, you know, all the freshers and stuff in France. So it's subtitled. And after she eats this meat, she just starts to get a feel for flesh. And there's a scene in this with a severed finger, which is just, and the ending is, it's mental. This is amazing. A modern horror masterpiece, as you can see here. And it really is. It's, brilliant. I absolutely love this French horror film. Amazing. That's my number 6. Number 5 on my list is 2014. David Robert Mitchell's It Follows. So this is my number 5. Sorry, I get it mixed up. I should have it written down, really. Yeah, number 5, It Follows, David Robert Mitchell. This is a brilliant film. Real throwback to early 80s horror. Reminds me, you know, the suburb setting and the just the following. Obviously, It Follows. The following reminds me of the Halloween so much. It's just got that feel about it. And it's basically about a girl who gets this sexually transmitted disease. This is a nice media book edition. Sexually transmitted disease, and it basically sends like a demon after her, and it takes form in all different forms of like humans, and it just keeps following you. But if it catches up with you, it kills you basically. It like breaks your body in half, and you just got to run from it. But it only walks. It's just really creepy, and like she can be stood there in the middle of a town or in the middle of school, and she'll see like a naked old lady come walking towards her. No one else can see it. And it's just like, it's just really creepy. Great film. It Follows. That's my number 5. I absolutely love it. Brilliant. My number 4, another classic from James Wan, 2013, Conjuring. This had to go in there. Number 4. It was going to be higher, but I've got a few more films. But I absolutely love this film. I know Insidious was 2010 and this was 2013, but after this one, this is where a spate of all these paranormal movies come. You know, obviously we know the Nun and everything's the Conjuring universe, but this brought sort of paranormal terror back on the map, I think, the Conjuring. Absolutely brilliant storytelling, brilliant acting, brilliant pace, brilliant cinematography, just really creepy, atmospheric movie. Brilliant. About in the 70s, a man and woman with about 5 or 6 girls take on this big farmhouse, buy it, and yeah, just stuff goes down from there. There's exorcisms, there's, you know, spirits chasing them around the house, there's sort of spirits latching on to some of the kids, they're seeing stuff. It's really creepy, really amazing. Just brilliant movie. If you haven't watched The Conjuring, definitely get on that. I suppose everyone has, though, who follow me anyway. My number 3, I mentioned this the other day in my hour video, and it was Climax from 2018. Brilliant. Gaspar Noé, you know what I think of this if you watch my other video. This is the hour edition. Brilliant film, brilliant choreography, brilliant cinematography, brilliant lighting. One of the strangest movies you'll ever see. Acting was great. All in French again. Like I say, foreign horror I love. Been a brilliant decade for horror, I think. You know, it's just been so many good ones out there. And like I say, I haven't seen them all, but I could, you know, any of them could get into the top 10. I think there's been some brilliant ones. And this is amazing. Just so different. Not like a horror where, you know, a slasher or paranormal or anything. Just an absolute spiral into madness. All these dancers have a party after a practice session, and their punch gets spiked, their drink, and they're all tripping on these drugs, and it's just spiraling out of control. There's people getting killed. They can't get out of this place where they are. It's just absolutely mental, and the ending is crazy. Gaspar Noé. It's just, there's cameras spinning. It's just brilliant to watch. Brilliant. So that's my number 3 of the decade, Climax. My number 2, it was going to be my number 1. It was very, very close. Unbelievably, I kept swapping them around. But my number 2 is Train to Busan. This is a brilliant zombie movie, guys. And who directed it? Yeno Sang-ho. Yeno Sang-ho. Brilliant film from 2016. Train to Busan. Like I say, if you haven't watched this, it's more of an action sort of horror. It's just full on action when they get on the train. There's zombies coming from everywhere. Great storyline. They're trying to get to Busan to get, you know, there's this zombie outbreak, and you got this guy with his little daughter who's about 10, and he's trying to save her from this train full of zombies, and they're really quick, you know, like they're not the slow zombies, you know, Night of the Living Dead where they're trailing the legs behind there, lightning. And it's just so fast paced. Great Korean movie, guys. If you haven't seen this, Train to Busan, it's probably one of my, this and Fulci's Zombie are my favourite zombie movies of all time. So, you know, it must be good to beat Dawn of the Dead, and you know, it's just, I love this movie. This is great. So, yeah, number 2 of the decade, Train to Busan. Definitely, guys, if you haven't watched this one, get on it. It's brilliant. It's amazing. I'm getting down now to my number 1, and it had to be, you guessed it. I know it's a bit of a cliche because probably a lot of them people are like, artsy farty, and you know, but Hereditary, Harry Astor, 2018. I absolutely love it. Some people hate it, not me. Brilliant cast in this. Is amazing. It's just so well acted. You know what I mean? It's just Tony Collette's performance, Gabriel Bryan, Alex Wolff is amazing in this. I think it's an Ari Aster, it's his first feature-length film, and it's just amazing. It's not like a normal horror film, but you've got elements in this that are creepy, really scary, some really gruesome stuff, some stuff that you can't believe is happening on screen, gets under your skin, and the ending is just crazy. I love the ending. Some people hated it. This is a Steelbook edition. Yeah, Ari Aster, definitely Hereditary, my number one of the decade. So yeah, thought I'd get that video out, guys. Tell me what your number one of the decade is. Like I say, I thought, you know, the 2010s have been absolutely brilliant for horror. Really got horror back on the map with, like I say, the success of It and Jordan Peele. He's, you know, big in the horror game at the minute with Us and Get Out. I think they've sort of mainstreamed it even more, horror. So, and you've got the independent guys as well. Some of them has been some brilliant films. Well, I could have put in my top 10, but I just haven't gone through them all. And like I say, I haven't watched probably even a quarter of the movies out. So, but for me, Hereditary is my number one. Tell me what yours is, guys, in the comments. You know, if I'm right, if I'm wrong, what you've seen in my movies, what you liked. And yeah, like I say, Happy New Year, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll be back sometime next week. I've been Tony, guys. Thanks a lot. Catch you all later.